Have you ever felt stuck in a life that doesn't feel like your own? For years, I chased success, stayed busy, and spent without purpose, only to feel unfulfilled. In this video, I'll share powerful 8 reasons why I chose to live intentionally and how it's completely transformed my life. Travel has always been a dream of mine. The thought of exploring new places, meeting new people, and experiencing different cultures fills me with excitement. But for years, it felt like something I'd only get to do someday. I'll never forget the moment I saw my first travel fund grow. I skipped takeout for a month, packed my own lunches, and suddenly, I had enough for a weekend getaway. That trip was life-changing. It reminded me why I wanted more out of life. What would happen if I stopped spending on those things and started saving for what truly mattered? Frugality made it possible. By cutting back on the unnecessary and focusing my spending on what aligned with my goals, I created room for the experiences I'd always dreamed of. Now, whether it's a road trip to a nearby town or a dream vacation abroad, travel is no longer a someday goal. It's a part of my life. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, who do I want to be? For years, I didn't. I was so focused on staying busy and meeting everyone else's expectations that I forgot to think about my own growth. Living intentionally and practicing frugality gave me the chance to pause and reflect. For example, I used to buy books and never read them because I was too busy. Now I make time to actually sit with a book, take notes, and grow. One of the first books I read was about mindset. It shifted how I see everything. Frugality isn't just about money. It's about simplifying your life and focusing on what matters most. That mindset created space for self-improvement. I started journaling, taking online courses, and setting goals that excited me. Instead of wasting money and energy on things that didn't serve me, I invested both in myself. What would your life look like if you made space to focus on becoming the person you want to be? For me, it's been one of the most rewarding parts of intentional living. Like many people, I used to think self-care was indulgent, something you did when everything else was taken care of. But here's what I learned. If you don't make time for self-care, you won't have the energy to show up for the people and things that matter. Living intentionally taught me to prioritize myself. I remember a time when my idea of self-care was buying things I didn't need. Now, it's as simple as a quiet cup of coffee in the morning. That small change brought more peace into my life than I ever thought possible. And frugality played a big role in that too. By simplifying my schedule and cutting out expenses that didn't align with my values, I created more time for rest and reflection. I started small, setting aside time each morning for a cup of coffee and quiet reflection, taking long walks to clear my mind, saying no to commitments that drained me. What surprised me most wasn't the time I gained. It was how much lighter I felt. By putting my well-being first, I finally had the energy to live fully and give back to others. Have you ever looked at your calendar and realized you're too busy for the people who matter most? I have, and it was one of the most heartbreaking realizations of my life. Frugality helped me create space for the people I love. By spending less on things that didn't matter, I was able to focus on building a life that allowed for meaningful moments, like dinners with friends, long conversations with family, and spontaneous outings. Because here's the truth. No amount of money or success will ever replace the moments we share with the people we love. For a long time, I felt like I didn't have the capacity to give to others. I was so focused on keeping up with my own life that I didn't have anything left to share. But as I simplified my finances and reclaimed my time, I realized I could give back. And it brought me a sense of fulfillment I never expected. Whether it's donating to a cause I care about or volunteering my time, giving back has become one of the most meaningful parts of my life. Frugality taught me that when I'm intentional with my resources, I can make a bigger impact. What would it feel like to make a difference for someone else? For me, it's one of the best rewards of intentional living. Do you remember the last time you did something purely for the joy of it? For years, I didn't. I was so focused on work and responsibilities that I forgot how much joy my hobbies used to bring me. When I started living intentionally, I rediscovered those passions. Writing, painting, exploring the outdoors. These aren't just hobbies. They're a part of who I am. Frugality helped me make time for them. By cutting back on distractions and unnecessary spending, I created space for the things that truly bring me happiness. One of the hardest truths I had to face was this: I was spending my life working for a system that didn't work for me. 50+ hours a week, just to keep up with bills, wasn't the life I wanted. Frugality gave me the tools to step away from that cycle. By simplifying my expenses and focusing on what truly mattered, I created the freedom to pursue a life on my own terms. What would your life look like if you didn't have to live by someone else's rules? For me, it looks like freedom, purpose, and the ability to say yes to what matters most. Debt was one of the heaviest burdens I carried. It felt like a shadow that followed me everywhere, limiting my choices and adding stress to every decision. When I chose to live intentionally, I made paying off debt a priority. Frugality played a huge role here. It allowed me to free up resources, focus my spending, and tackle my debt one step at a time. Imagine what your life could look like without the weight of debt. For me, it's a future filled with possibility and peace of mind. Living intentionally isn't about being perfect. It's about making choices, deliberate, meaningful choices, that reflect your values. For me, it means freedom. It means having time for travel, self-care, personal growth, and the people I love. It means stepping away from the endless cycle of work and debt and creating a life that feels like my own. Frugality was the key that unlocked this way of living. By simplifying my finances and focusing on what mattered, I gained not only financial freedom but the ability to design a life that feels truly fulfilling. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in a system that doesn't work for you, I want you to know this: you don't have to stay there. Start small. Take one step at a time. And trust that every little change will bring you closer to the life you want, because you deserve more than just surviving. You deserve a life that feels meaningful, fulfilling, and free. If this message resonates with you, please hit the like button and share this video with someone who might need it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories, tips, and strategies to help you live intentionally. And let me know in the comments, what's one change you'd like to make to start living more intentionally today? I can't wait to hear your thoughts.